The robots are the most fun. The conveyor and the racking doesn't get a whole lot of pizzazz. I've done conveyor systems, I've done racking, I've done really, boring stuff like pulling permits, but the robots are the most fun. When people ask me what I do, I usually go robots because I'm like, oh, I make conveyor systems. They're like, oh, like the ones at the grocery store? I'm like, yep, that's correct. So yeah, it's a good time. So cool.
Most people think manufacturing's dirty, boring, or dying. They're dead wrong. This is Manufacturing Runs the World. We're here to fix the misconceptions, teaching the next generation how modern manufacturing really works and why it matters more than ever.
So hi, my name's Danielle. Hi, Justin. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Danielle. I've just been LinkedIn stalking you.
Anything fun did you find?
I did, yeah. Just in your background, and kind of the most interesting stuff is all around Formic. Sounds like a pretty cool company.
Yeah, it's really cool. The robots are the most fun. The conveyor and the racking doesn't get a whole lot of pizzazz, but I've done conveyor systems, I've done racking, I've done really, boring stuff like pulling permits, but the robots are the most fun. When people ask me what I do, I usually go robots because I'm like, oh, I make conveyor systems. They're like, oh, like the ones at the grocery store? I'm like, yep, that's correct. So yeah, it's a good time. So cool.
You said you're responsible for these robots. Can you delve into that more? What part of that are you responsible for?
Sure. I call them my robot babies because at Formic, I do the part we're going from, hey, customer says, yes, I want this. And it's usually solutions to pretty close, kind of 80% of the way there. And we've got a pretty solid concept. And then I take it and I finish the concept and make sure that, hey, your boxes are going to fit. Hey, this is going to fit in your warehouse. CAD drawings, measurements. I do a site validation. So I usually go there and go, so I know you told the salespeople this, but what are you really doing? And I'm always running around trying to find somebody in a not caller, somebody who's out on the floor. And I'm like, show me the binder. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, the production binder, the thing where you have a printout top sheets of what you're actually building, and I'm going to take pictures of that. I do site validation, get that concept to be precision, and then go through all of those details with the customer and drive the solution through actually bolting things into the ground. So we joke around they're my babies. I also call myself the robot doula. So I bring robots into the world.
Yeah.
And this is what we're doing to let's make sure we bend the metal and source the components all the way through that factory acceptance test of, hey, show me that this is going to work inside of the factory floor. We have a number of systems integrators at Formic. They all have specialties, which I find to be really fun. So I had a huge systems integration background. I've worked for, machine builders as well as automation experts and people who make that. And every systems integrator tends to have 2 to 5 things they're really good at. You'd be like, oh, I need a bag palletizer. You're like, oh, I'm going to call these guys. Or oh, I need a box palletizer that goes high speed, call these 3. So at Formic, we get to kind of be the Swiss Army knife and have access to many of them. I kind of have a fun role where when the challenge gets brought up, I go, I think these 2 different systems integrators are going to be the best. Let's go out, see what their capability is, who can go faster, who's cheaper, etc. And then I drive the solution, and then it shows up on the customer site. And we're uncrating, we're unloading. I'm usually talking to the customer. I have a team with me of mechanical and electrical guys, and we're putting it in. Sometimes we're shorthanded, and the beauty of not working in a cube all day is have I wired these up? Sure. Have I drilled into the ground because we're behind? Absolutely. Am I the best one at it? No. But at the same time, there's something to be said about getting your hands dirty. So I usually end up being terrible job person because my robot programmer can program. I'm very bad at it, but I can pick up a box and throw it. So we're doing the rate testing, and then I go, hey customer, here's your robot. Let me show you what it does. Let me train you. And then let me talk to you about how this is your robots as a service. Instead of just throwing them the keys and be like, call me if you break.
It's all automated. Good luck.
Yeah, peace out. There's a little bit more of a nuance of, hey, we're your partner in this. We don't get paid unless you're running. So we have sort of this lockstep of, hey, customer, you have to give me boxes, and hey, it's on Formic to make sure that these things run. So it's a bit like we are now in like a marriage, or we're in a partnership, which is pretty different than like selling equipment, being like, okay, you paid me my last 10%. I check the box and I I run away. And if you try to call me, I'll be like, yeah, I can come out for $5,000 a day. Sure. There's a lot more partnership inside of it. So everything from that final design, last 10, 20% through starting the robot training. And then we do have a support team that's not me, but I do tend to stick my nose in there a little bit to help the first couple of weeks on the service side. And then we have an incredible field service team that is doing the heavy lifting of when something breaks, when there's an upgrade, etc. But yeah.
Well, you sound very much like the linchpin that like makes sure everything is held together.
I'd like to think so. Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility, but there's something really exciting about going from a piece of paper to, look, there's a thing.
Right. Or it's an idea in the customer's mind, and then you translate it into robots automating stuff for them.
Yeah, precisely. That's the fun part. In my career, the timelines of these deployments have gone from 20, 30 weeks to like 8.
Wow.
Which is so fun because 20 weeks is cool, but you kind of lose a little bit of that momentum. And I guess call me a millennial in this moment, but I'm like, I need it to go quickly. So we've even deployed a few of them in less than 6 weeks, from like signed to in, which is insane to have 12,000 pound robot on your floor with semi-custom equipment in 6 weeks. One customer was like, oh, I was like, yeah, do you want it like in 2 weeks? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, great, let's do it. So it's been fun to have that cut down into like a third of the time.
I mean, you're talking about these robots. Is there any like real world examples that you're able to talk to us? Like you help this specific company do robot arms that transfer stuff, or?
Yeah, so we've had a good amount of press about this one, and this one's a pretty personal one to me. So there's a company out in Marion, Ohio, called Wyandotte Snacks. They make snacks of all kinds, like chips, pretzels. They were the original Cracker Jack factory back in the day. They do the extruded snacks. They had a new leadership team come in, and their job is to basically turn this company around. This is a legacy company in a smallish town that employs a lot of people. That's hard to do. It's hard to figure out in snack foods, which is a constantly changing business, how to innovate. And so they were really cash poor. They really struggled with having available money to make upgrades, but they needed some automation. So Formic had that perfect sort of angle to be like, hey, you don't have to pay us any money because you have no CapEx, and it's all OpEx. And it's in a small town in sort of, I don't know, an hour and a half north of Columbus, Ohio. So employment pool, challenging. They couldn't even find people. So having the ability to automate allowed them to take the limited resources they had, put them on jobs that robots can't do. They started up a new line with a new set of product, millions of dollars of business. This new line is all automated, including having 2 Formic robots and a small conveyor system. And it's pretty cool because they are growing into the system and they didn't have to pay any money. And so now that new leadership team, instead of playing do we go into more debt to get more sort of business out of it, they're able to say yes to the new business and transform it from capital expenditure to OpEx.
Right.
So, so they're turning it around. There's a bunch of other improvements that they're making on the facility, but sort of the first one to kick them off was these sets of robots. This is a, legacy plant. People had a lot of feelings and I wouldn't say scared, but like change about, they were like, these robots are taking my job. Like, and the fork truck drivers got pretty excited and spicy with me. And having to overcome the first month of the change and having it be successful and being responsive and having the automation really perform well sort of set the stage for this snack food company, Wyandotte, to do other bits of automation. They were like, oh, these robots work well. They haven't killed anyone. Like, it actually is pretty cool that they just, pick these boxes up and put them down. and having that be an easy win, not only from a high level sort of company finance standpoint, but sort of that Formic magic and the extra care and the partnership that we have versus on the floor level. So you have everyone sort of having a good time. And so they're like, oh, we want to do this other automation. We have a really good taste in our mouths. We had a good experience with these, these big orange robots. Let's try something new.
Yeah. Is that kind of a common occurrence for you guys? Is you'll go into a place, I call it a toe in the water project, and then they're like, okay, I want to jump full in. Let's automate all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I actually really love the first robot. That's one of my favorite types of customer. And we had a laundry products customer do this across 4 facilities where they put 1 in each. And then they have done between 3 and 4 robots additional in each one. So they said, hey, we have these 4 facilities. Let's just try 1 and see how we do. And then we didn't even finish the 4th one. And they were already ordering doubles, triples. There's 4 at 1 facility and they're all lined up and it's cool. So having that first robot is really magical. The nuance is lost on me because I've seen so many, but it's always fun for me when the robot starts moving. Everyone kind of stops and stares and they look. And you get a little bit of this, a little dads at soccer practice being a little
hoping that it's gonna fail.
And and they're always asking questions and I'm like, what do you think's gonna go wrong? What do you think? What do you hate about it? I really try to talk to people about that. And usually it's a really tight body language, a lot of hands on hips. And then when I start seeing the phones come out and the smiles, I go, got him.
Yep.
When it's picking up things and putting it down, I think there's this human nature where you're like, that's cool.